Hey, hi, and howdy, sweet friends. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. My name is Courtney. I do food and kitchen content on YouTube, from grocery hauls to cooking videos. So if you like that, and I suspect you just might because you clicked on this video, then I hope you will consider hitting the subscribe button, sticking around, drop me a comment, hit that like button, do all the things because it totally helps my channel out so much. For all of you that tune in every week and do those things, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. It really does make a huge difference for my channel. All right, I have 3 great recipes this week. They were all winners. They're all easy. And all of these for me are budget meals because all the ingredients were either on sale or super cheap. We're going to kick it off with spaghetti goulash. This to me is like on par with just regular spaghetti. It takes a little bit more work, but it's super quick, super easy, kind of like a staple. Most of the ingredients we'll all have in our homes. So I started off with a pound of ground beef. Of course, you could use ground turkey or any other ground meat. Ground pork is always super cheap. So any of those options are obviously available to you, whatever you have and whatever you want to use. I let that cook and I drained out most of the grease, and I added in some diced bell peppers, diced celery, and an onion that I diced up. And I'm going to let those cook for just a few minutes and start the whole softening process. We'll add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper because that does kind of help get everything moving along for sure. And then we're going to add some garlic. Now, if you're adding raw garlic, which is perfectly fine, I would go with about 2 cloves. I'll be using my confit garlic, which is like my favorite thing in my kitchen. I've been making this for I think about a year now. I absolutely love it. If you like roasted garlic, you will love confit garlic. And it provides 2 things. One is the garlic, and 2 is garlic oil to cook with. I always have a video for that linked down below in my description box, and it's a very short video and it's a very easy thing to make. So I've tossed in a big spoonful of my confit garlic, and it's beautiful, sweet roasted garlic flavor, so amazing. And I'm just going to let this kind of cook, and the flavors get to know each other, and the vegetables continue to soften and do their thing. The meat is fully cooked at this point, and we're just kind of ready to start making this sauce, essentially. Now, while all this is going on, I do have a pot of spaghetti noodles cooking next to me. We want to par cook those for about 7 or so minutes. We don't want them fully cooked, so you really want to wait to the last couple of minutes to get those going. All right, now we're going to season this, and it's super simple. We're going to put in about a tablespoon of chili powder and a teaspoon of cumin, and of course we put in our salt and our pepper, and then we've got all those beautiful veggies in there, and we're also going to throw in a little bit of dried oregano, maybe about half a teaspoon. And that is it. This is kind of a combination between a chili flavor and a regular spaghetti with meat sauce flavor. It's so good though. It really is kind of like a unique thing, but it's fabulous, and it's cheap and it's easy to make. All right, cheap, I guess, is how you view it, because ground beef really has gotten expensive, but everything's gotten expensive, hasn't it? So if you're going to be using a meat, well, it's going to be expensive. Now, if you wanted to make this more of a vegetarian option, toss in all your veggies, and I would highly suggest mushrooms. I think they would be beautiful in here and kind of give you that meaty vibe. But if you want meat, like I said, any kind of ground meat will work for this. Next, I tossed in 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. Nothing fancy there. They're pretty cheap. These are less than $1 a can. And this, by the way, makes a ton of food. I'm cooking an entire pound of pasta to go with it. And this makes so many servings. Because I'm on the Mediterranean diet, I didn't eat this. There's like I really do try to steer clear of red meat a lot right now. So I chose not to eat this. I ate a different kind of pasta, which I will be featuring in my video next week. But this makes a ton of food. I'm going to say 6 to 7 servings. So I just mixed the meat sauce right on into the noodles. I mixed them all together. Now I did reserve about 1.5 cups of my pasta water because, like I said, we did the noodles about 6 to 7 minutes, so they're not fully cooked. We want them to finish cooking in this sauce. It just really kind of brings the dish together. They soak up that little bit of extra flavor. It just does something really great for your pasta. No matter what kind of pasta you're doing, if you can finish it in the sauce, it is going to yield you a way better dish at the end of the day. So I'm just going to slowly drizzle in some of that reserved pasta water as these noodles finish cooking. It only takes a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. And I used almost the entire 1.5 cups of water. It's going to vary from person to person and dish to dish, really depending on the weather and the day. It's kind of like making dough. Sometimes your noodles are going to take a little bit more water and sometimes they're not. We do want a little bit of sauciness left to this, and the noodles are still releasing a lot of starch into this water that we're putting in there, which is starchy water. So it's not going to be super liquidy or runny. It really does keep a nice thick saucy consistency. And as you can see, like my noodles are now pretty much finished and we've got a nice sauce going on in there. Everything is cooking nicely together. It's evenly distributed. The noodles have absorbed a lot of that tomatoey goodness. So there is just flavor all through here. And like I said, this makes a ton of food. I'm going to go with, I think we got 7 servings out of this. I cannot quite remember because my guys were eating it for lunch too. They ate it for dinner a couple of nights. It just really went a long, long way. It makes a ton of food. Now you could always serve this with some veggies on the side or a side salad or some garlic bread. It's totally up to you. But because I'm cooking multiple meals now due to my dietary stuff, I just kind of stuck with this for them. But it was a filling meal for sure. So easy, so delicious. This recipe actually comes from my mom. It's something she makes that we always ask her to make when we go visit because it's just really, really good. But there's a finished result. I just boxed it up in little easy containers so everybody could just kind of grab and go as they went. All right, next we're going to do some easy oven baked ribs. These for me are budget friendly because if you live near an Albertsons, a United, a Market Street, they will do buy one get one free on ribs very, very often. So this pack of ribs that I'm making today was $9 and some change, and I bought it and I got one for free, bringing the grand total of this down to about $4.50, which is on par with a pound of ground beef. So I'm going to start off by prepping a rub to put on the ribs. I'm going to do garlic and onion powder, some smoked paprika, some salt, and some pepper, and then a little bit of brown sugar. As you can see, we're kind of like going the direction of a barbecue flavored rub here. We're going to mix this all together. If you have another rub you really, really like even just salt, pepper, and garlic powder on their own are great for stuff like this. But if you have like a store-bought rub that you buy or something, that is perfectly fine too. But these are ingredients most of us have in our home. So if you're looking to just throw an easy rub together, this is it. It's so simple and so easy, but really packs a lot of delicious flavor. So I'm just going to mix this all together and then we're going to prep our ribs. Now I've got a whole rack of pork ribs that I'm going to show you how I prepare because it is really important to make sure that you remove the silver skin off the back of the ribs. So this is the back side of them, and you can see that white stuff across one side there. That's not fat, that's silver skin, and it's really tough. And if you don't remove this, your ribs are going to be tough, especially on that one side. So just take a knife and kind of pull up one edge of it, and then just like when you try to pull the tendons out of the chicken, grab a paper towel because it'll help you get a really good grip and start pulling. And you'll pull, it's almost paper-like. You'll just pull it right off the back of the ribs. It might take 1 or 2 tries. Most of mine came off in this one pull, and then I did have to grab another little piece off the top there that didn't quite get caught, and that's okay. Just get it off there because, like I said, it makes for tough ribs. It's chewy. It doesn't get tender. It remains tough. So we want to just get that out of our way because that is not good eats, and that's not what we want when we make some ribs. We want these to be juicy and tender. All right, you can trim off any fat that you want to. I usually leave most of mine on because it will yield more juicy and tender ribs at the end of the day. So I went ahead and sprinkled almost half of my rub on the back side. We season all around, the top, the bottom, the sides, everything. And I like to really rub it into the meat because that gets the flavor into the meat. We don't just want to bake it on the outside. We want it to adhere and kind of get in there. So once you've rubbed it in, flip it over, make sure you're getting the edges, make sure you're getting the tops, everything. And use the whole bit of your rub there. Now you're going to need to make your rub depending on the size of your ribs, but I did a teaspoon of all of my spices plus 2 tablespoons of sugar because that makes for a barbecue saucy kind of flavor there, and that's what I was looking for. Also, it kind of helps caramelize at the end of the day when we put our sauce on the top. Now, all I'm going to do now that I'm done rubbing this into the meat is just completely cover this tray with foil, and I'm going to throw this in my oven at the lowest you can go. Some people can do 200. I think mine goes down to 225. And I'm going to put them in there until they're completely cooked. It's going to take a couple of hours, and you want to reach like the 165 to 175 range or above is fine as well. I'm going to keep mine in there. I think it took on this particular day about 2.5 hours before they hit that. I always use a meat thermometer when I'm making ribs just to make sure that they're fully done. And you want to put it in there in between the bones. You don't want to put it on the bone because the bone will read a lot hotter than the meat does. So when you're checking it, make sure you're going in between those bones. And that's what I'm doing right there. I've just got my probe in there, and you can see mine is right up there. 200 is nice and tender. If you get it up there, that is great. The lowest you should go, I think, is 165 though. Mine are great. I could literally pull the bones right out with my fingers. I when I got ready to slice them, actually had a couple just fall right out. but they are perfectly juicy, perfectly tender. So I'm going to take a bottle of barbecue sauce and I'm just going to spread it across the top of the ribs with a little basting brush here. And then we're going to put this under the broiler. This is what gives you that sweet, sticky rib that you're used to seeing. They're not pretty once you just bake them covered in foil. You really do need to do this step to make them look really attractive and really yummy, because we do eat with our eyes first. I'm not putting a whole lot on here, probably 3 tablespoons of sauce for this whole rack of ribs. I don't put it on the bottom side, I only put it on the top, and like I said, under the broiler until it gets all bubbly and caramelized. It just takes a couple of minutes, and this is what they look like. They look way better now, don't they? It really does take that step of putting them under the broiler to bring them to life. And I served them with some roasted cauliflower and mac and cheese. Again, I wasn't eating this, but my family did, and they all raved about it. Ribs are always a hit. You know, what can you say? All right, this is a cheater meal in my house, but I always have this stuff on hand. Buffalo chicken wraps. If you've got kids, you probably typically will have some sort of chicken nugget, chicken tender type situation on hand. So this will be an easy meal for you to throw together, just like it is for me. I like to take some ranch dressing. I'm out of ranch dressing currently, so I just took some mayonnaise and mixed in some of my confit garlic. You could use garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, some salt and pepper, a splash of lemon juice, and some dried dill. Mix it all together. It tastes fabulous, by the way. I think it tastes better than ranch. So if you don't have any ranch dressing or you want to throw something together, this is it, man. It's super simple. You don't have to make a huge batch if you're not going to use a huge batch of ranch, which I knew we wouldn't. I spread that out on the bottom of a tortilla. You can use any kind of wrap that you want. I just always have these on hand, so this is what I usually go to. I had some Tyson chicken strips in my freezer, as I usually do, and I just tossed them in the air fryer. Cook them in the oven, air fryer, microwave, whatever you like and whatever's easiest for you. And then top it with some Frank's Red Hot. I mean, you could really use any kind of hot sauce you want, but Frank's Red Hot to me is top tier. It's perfect when you're looking for anything buffalo flavored, so I highly, highly recommend it. Next, I threw on some tomatoes. I had some little grape tomatoes that I just sliced in half, put a dab of salt on. If you have not salted your tomatoes, I highly advise you do it because it brings out the flavor. They are amazing. I just eat them on their own like that. Then I topped it with a little bit of romaine lettuce. Spinach is great here too, but I'm out. Any kind of lettuce really works, but spinach is fabulous and very healthy. Lettuce is just a lot of water, but spinach does have a little bit more nutritional value if you're looking for that. Then just wrap it up. That's it. You can put cheese on there if you want to. I'm a fan of blue cheese, but nobody else in my family is, so I just leave them like that. This is so simple and so easy. It does not heat up your kitchen. It's a great summer meal, and it's super satisfying. Pickles on there are a must for me, but nobody else in my family eats it that way. But that's it. It's so easy, and it takes like 10 minutes. It's so quick. Anyway, that is it for this week. These are all back to basic budget meals for me. They're easy to throw together, things I have on hand or require very cheap ingredients. I hope you enjoyed them. Tomorrow will be the premiere of my Mediterranean meal video, so I hope you will stick around for that because I'll be doing that every week for the foreseeable future. Hope to see you guys there. Have a great weekend. Bye.